Well, we might be live. It looks like maybe my mic is working and Javier is here. So awesome sauce. Um, Trying to figure out what windows I can, because I got like my laptop over here and this little monitor right there. And the little monitor is like this big and 3 feet from my face. So everything's tiny. Don't know what all I can see. Like, I'm not trying to figure out which way I should put it so I can see comments and shit like that. But I'm working on it. I'm going to step out of camera just a moment. The only beverage I have available is a Ghost I was working on earlier. Probably not something to have at 8 o'clock at night, but it's partially drank, so what are you going to do? TJ, hello. Uncle Guns, hello. All right. Tonight's live chat brought to you by First Wave Holsters, maker of this cool shirt, and other cool stuff. 2 actual new products available today, or dropping today. They'll be available shortly. No idea on the cost of either of those, and we will get to them. Don't you worry about it. Go back over here and open up the chat window. Maybe I should make it smaller. Oh, that could work. I didn't want that over there. I wanted that over there and this over there. Trying some new stuff. Bear with me. All right. So, yes. Adam Hall, hello, sir. First Wave Holsters on top of things today. We'll get to that stuff in the interim. Let's talk about the things that are happening over in the world of stuff. So next Wednesday, I will have Andrew Smersher, Shrek, Princess Fiona. That will not be there, just Shrek, on the live chat. He actually is having a live chat, a live stream tonight with, I think, Jared Reston. So it's as soon as this one ends, that his is starting. So you should all go check that out. That's what I'm going to do. So we will not be running late tonight. But he is going to be on my live stream next week. Leading up from now until the muster, I am going to have all the instructors who are presenting at the muster on a live chat, or at least I'm going to try to. So there's that. So that's a thing. I want to give a quick shout out to Ammo Supply Warehouse. The Supply Warehouse Becker over there, Boncia Becker. He has just recently added Goober's stuff to his website, or maybe it ain't on the website yet, but the GBRS stuff, Goober's. He is now carrying that. I got an order from him with some slings in it a couple days ago. So if you need Goober's slings or Goober's chest rigs, you can get them from Mr. Becker. If they're not on the website yet and you shoot him a message, he will get you squared away on getting it until he gets the website updated with their crap. Now I'll go ahead right now and tell you that the second best sling that they sell is indeed the second best sling. The first best sling is that sling with a small modification that I have done to mine for easier attachment of a sling duber. So a goober sling modified for a duber, throw a couple sling devils on the end, and you've got the best setup. I should probably make that go quiet so that we don't have to hear it. That's done, taken care of. I just set it here. Shinde, hello, sir. Benjamin, hello. Good to see my peoples on the chat. And their chest rig, I don't even know what they call it, modular chest rig. Fuck, that might actually be the name or the abbreviation for it. It would be what, MCR, modular chest rig. They might call it something else. It is the first and truly only modular chest rig I have seen. I know the M in Molly means modular, but it's only kind of modular. The Goobers one is like straight up as modular as it's got the most modularity of any modulations. So if you are a guy that likes to tinker and get things exactly the way you want, that's the chest rig for you. If you want to open a package and put magazines in it and go to the range, that's not the chest rig for you. Tim Larson, hello, sir. What else did I see? Oh, so NRA is coming up this weekend. I'm not going. Dallas is pretty far away, and I'm not happy with the NRA as an organization anyhow. And some of my friends in the industry aren't going either, so some are. But I'm just not making a drive all the way to Dallas to see some people. And I've seen all the, maybe not all the people, but I would guess most of the ones I wanted to see. I saw them at SHOT Show a couple months ago, or I'll just go to them where they live or where they work or whatever. So no need to drive all the way to Dallas, or some of them might be coming here and that kind of thing. But with SHOT Show or NRA show going on, it usually isn't the biggest Colt Manny, hello sir. It's not the biggest venue for dropping new stuff, but fucking Magpul went and dropped new stuff for NRA. I guess they weren't ready to show it at SHOT because SHOT for them was a little lean compared to like last year. But they got lever gun stuff. Well, they got a big, like 8 mile long rifle case for, I guess, whatever people with muskets. Your Pennsylvania long rifle or something. But then they brought out lever gun stuff, a 4-end and a stock. I didn't look to see what all lever guns it was for. I would imagine Marlins, I would guess, first. But at any rate, they got a stock and a 4-end plastic stuff. And I was like, man, you guys are just like a day late. And by a day late, I mean like 3 years late. But it's cool to see options, especially if you're into lever guns. The more companies that make stuff, the more companies will be forced to make their shit awesome. So I don't like the stock looked interesting. That's what I kept waiting for. And then Midwest released their stock this year. And I went, okay, I don't need a Magpul one. And then Magpul like fucking actually came out with it. And the 4-end, that I'll treat just like any 4-end, like the Magpul 4-ends for ARs and AKs. If you're on a budget, plastic's fine, but I would get an actual M-LOK aluminum rail front end. But it was cool that they came out with it. And then something else that was very interesting was the SIG 320 grip frame modules. So pull your FCU out of your 320 and drop it in the Magpul grip frame. Now, what's really cool about this is I think the Magpul polymer is awesome. Like their patented fucking recipe for plastic is fantabulous. So that part I think is great. I don't know anything else about these 320 frames. I don't know how they compare to regular 320 frames. I don't own a 320. It's been forever since I've even touched a 320. So, but it's cool that they're doing it. And I have to admit that some of the M17s that I've seen broken were broken grip frame modules, not the gun itself, not the FCU, but the grip frames, because it's just a thin piece of plastic wrapped around the FCU. So I can see where that would be a potential issue, especially if you're like fast roping or something and you got your Safari Land holster that holds the pistol way out here. Like something's going to get caught on it. So maybe the Magpul one is more robust because Magpul's plastic is awesome. So that could be a thing. But then it got me thinking, hey, I wonder if they're going to branch out into the 365 family, because there's not a lot of guns where you can make a non-serialized grip frame. So the other contender would be the 365. And while it's not a duty-sized gun, aka fat, overweight, obese, it sells more, the 365 does, than the 320. So there's a lot of market share out there. And I know Wilson makes a frame, which I don't like the feel of as much as the regular frame. Like if I had a Wilson frame, I would grind it down to be the same girth as the SIG frame. So I actually wish the macro frame was as thin and fit as a XL frame, but I know they did the removable back straps, which caused like the interface for that makes the whole thing a little bigger. So even with the smallest back strap, it's bigger than the XL frame. But maybe Magpul will make something for that. It'd be cool to check out. So that was what I saw new today, literally like today, and went, oh shit, like things are happening. Iroquois Foreskin, hello, sir. Javier says, thoughts on reports of ammo shortages due to powder availability coming. They're legit. So the nitrocellulose shortage is real. It isn't from wars and shit. It's from the Wuhan bullshit. I mean, I'm a conspiracy theorist, I guess, as much as anyone, but I can't believe that the rapid test kits over the last few years were designed to cause ammo shortages. It's just a perk for them, we'll say. But it will sort itself. Like nobody makes or even buys those rapid test kits, so that will catch back up at some point. It's just in the interim. Ammo is going to be expensive, so things like fish classes where you can use Blackbeards for most of it, a little bit of UTM, or other skills, medical skills, communication skills, navigation skills. You can still go get training, even if ammo becomes difficult to get. When in 2020, when ammo was like $700 for a fucking case, I had more people coming more frequently to more training events than ever in my life, including my time at Tactical Response. So, you know, where there was getting thousands of students a year, like 2020 was the ultimate training year that I witnessed, and nobody could afford ammo. So training is still going to be able to happen. So that's my thought on the powder shortages. Like it's real, it's happening. Mr. Foreskin says he's going to use the Blackbeard in all the workshops. I mean, you can, but the two of them are pistol workshops. So that'll probably be an issue. And until Dry Fire Mag comes out with, I mean, that you can get a Glock like 17 and a Glock 48 laser equipped Dry Fire Mag now. I think the 320 might even be available. Macro is coming quickly, and when it does, we're going to embrace it and do some pistol stuff with lasers. I will get some Glock loaners and some SIG loaners, and we'll start doing stuff with, like, you can use a cert gun or anything that has a resetting trigger and a laser in a pistol. So I know there's some, like, Blue Ops makes a Glock 19 one. So there will be some options. We will embrace those as soon as we can get some macro versions in people's hands. TJ, I know, I'm trying to get them on board. They keep saying soon. They've shown some pictures on their social media, so I mean, it's getting close. They had bought a bunch of different frames, like the Wilson frames and the Icarus frames, because they wanted to make sure that there was no frame incompatibility with their magazine. So they are certainly working on it. Will Crutcher, hello, sir. So that is the updates there. The next updates, the big updates are, there are, my computer just went kapop. Like, oh, there's like, okay. So the Restream chat, like from Restream Inc., is trying, like they have a customer service rep, like chatting at me while I'm trying to live stream. I'm like, okay, but I don't want you to talk to me now. Anywho, 2 new first wave products. One is a Trema Signature and one is not, although it will come in a Trema Signature-ish kind of version. But before I get to that, I'm going to answer Mr. Forskin's questions. How far am I from ASW? Probably an hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes, something like that. But I see Becker all the time. So you could have saved yourself some shipping and just said it was for the workshops. I'm willing to wager that Mr. Becker will be at the workshops. I know some people that live closer to him that will be at the workshop, so we could have just sent it right over for you, but yeah, going there to pick it up, like I'm way out of here. Like you have to go an hour and a half past my house to get it and then come back. So there, that answers that question. But so the big products, I know you're like, what is it going to be? So there is a newer, different version of the Trempendix holster that I have been playing with, and I will go over what the differences are. No, it is not yet for sale. And on said holster, we ran into a dilemma. So we developed a different idea to fix said dilemma, and that dilemma will be available for a lot of different holsters that aren't necessarily like first wave holsters even. And I'll show you that as well. So we don't have a name for it, but we're going to have a cool contest for that as well. And we'll probably do a special price pre-order before we put it live on the website for regular order, where you'll save some money. But at any rate, let's talk about the holster itself. I will show it to you. It is right here in my hand. It looks like this. I know you're like, Gary, I can't see it. The lighting sucks. You went for mood lighting and there's no, it's okay. I'll show you a picture. How about that? I'm actually going to bring this window back over here so it's bigger. There we go. And then I'm going to move the chat over to that window. Wow, it still ain't fucking big enough. Oh, maybe. All right, so let's take a look at the photo of the newest version of the Trempendix. So it's here. Maybe. All right, so that is the new version of the Trempendix. It has a few differences. I'll explain what they are and why they exist. And then we'll do some comparisons. So the new Trempendix, if you notice, there isn't a big ass wing down at the bottom of the holster at the muzzle end. I'll give you a comparison photo right now. So there's the original Trempendix on the left and the new one on the right. So we have slimmed up the muzzle end of the holster. And the reason is appendix is not as friendly to short people as it is to tall people. So for instance, when I am wearing any appendix holster, the holster is touching my leg and my dick at the same time all the time. So now if I'm standing upright and my leg is not protruding forward, it's only touching my dick, uh, which just barely protrudes forward. But if I bend my leg at the hip for any reason, now the holster is being smashed in between two pieces of flesh, which isn't a big deal until you're a half hour, 40 minutes into it being there, like you say you're driving. So now I've got holster crushed into my leg and pushing on my Johnson nonstop. Uh, so the only way to alleviate that is to raise the gun so high that nothing sticks below the belt. And then the grip of the gun actually hits my bottom rib. It's that far out. So I couldn't figure out a way to make the gun shorter, like from muzzle to back strap. So instead, I decided to make the holster thinner from pick rail to front sight. And lopping that part off was the way to do it. Zach Bush, hello, sir. So as you look at that, it still has the 4 ride heights. It's just thinner at the muzzle, which got rid of our spot for the tie-off point, which we'll get to that in a minute. We used a similar design to the Mark V holster for the wing, but instead of having a dedicated wing, we used a nylon spacer. So we had to do a little bit of changing with the mold for the Kydex, but what we ended up with was the same amount of leverage. We just don't have a cantilevered wing. It's just bolted straight to the Kydex. It does not have any grip to it, like those 2 round button head screws or whatever the hell they call those kind of bolts. It slides on your clothing well, so if the holster rotates left and right, they don't grab fast like typical wings do with all the little texture on them, which is why we didn't use that style on the old Trempendix. But the big issue we got was then we didn't have a tie-off point. Like all that went away. So we developed a different thing that we're calling the wiggly jig. And it bolts underneath I think it's 5/8 is the hole spacing on most holster wings and attachments. So it can bolt on anybody's holster to give you a tie-off point. So there's the one that's literally on the holster in the photo. And as you can see, it gives you a spot to tie the holster off to a fanny pack or a Hill People Gear kit bag or anything like that. Let me see how to get back to my face. I don't know if you can see it, but it's offset a little bit and it's got some flex to it, so you can bend it out of the way. The thing about tie-off points, having tried a bunch of tie-off points, using soft loops that are attached up at the top of the holster on my Mark V, or you want your tie-off point somewhere along this edge, so that when it's sitting in there and you pull it out, no matter how you twist the gun, it will never end up wrapped around itself. You want it on the bottom edge of the holster. So this gives you the bottom edge to tie it off into your fanny pack, so that when you grab the gun, the holster may come, until your tie-off device is tight, and then it stops and the gun comes the rest of the way out. So we still get a tie-off point. And the good news is, if you own a different holster and you don't want a Tremis signature holster, but you'd like to add a tie-off point so you could move the gun from your appendix or your hip or wherever and put it in a kit bag, so you can now wear a backpack and not have to just smash your belt over top of your backpack's belt over the top of your holster. You don't have to throw the holster on the ground and just put the gun in the kit bag. You can use the same holster and tie it off. And that tie-off point will be available separately once we figure out how much it costs to make one of those. How many can you get out of a sheet of Tegris and the cost of a rivet and that kind of shit. So the wiggly jig will be coming as its own non-Tremis signature. It just won't have a yellow eyelet. It'll probably be black. They will be available for 48, so you'll be all right. TJ likes the wiggly jig. And no, I will not make the mono block an option because it doesn't rotate. And if I'm going to wear an appendix holster, it will have a rotating clip. And the rotation needs to have stops so that it can't rotate all the way around. Stephen, hello, sir. So we still got the DCC Mod 4 clip that rotates 12 degrees. It still has the Raven, is it a wedge, I guess it is, like the dog nose looking material, which you can take that on or off. You don't have to have it. We did some mold changes, so it takes less girth of Kydex to attach this now than it did on the old one. You can probably see that if you look at them, and maybe not from this that view. I should have took a picture of it from that way too. We've just made it narrower so it fits between your leg and your Johnson better. Let's see if I got a backside comparison photo. So that's what it looks like on the back. Oh, the other thing we did, tried it out a little bit, is, and I don't know if there's a good photo where you can see it. We gave it a little bit of a bucket top, maybe there. Nah, maybe not. So let me go back to my face here. On the original Trempendix, there's like 1/8 of an inch of gap at the front. Like it's probably 1/2 an inch on the Mark V holster. And on the new one, we went with like 1/4 inch so that it's easier to find the hole and drop that back in there. We also made the top a little taller for folks that want to run the gun deeper in their pants and some of the higher mounting holes. We didn't get the clothing overlapping the top by raising this up a little bit. So those were the other differences. We made it less girthy this way, less girthy this way, and then the other few things that I mentioned. So now here is the cool idea or giveaway we're doing. I am over on the Facebook page. I'm going to make a post when this is over. Fuck, I might be able to make it right now. We'll see. All right, bear with me. I'm working on it. Oh, that's not how you spell the word comments. And I should probably put a picture. Man, do I even have any pictures of this? I don't even have a picture of the holster on this computer. I did all that downstairs. So I just made a post. It says, name the new holster in the comments over on Facebook. So not these comments, like in the chat, because I'm not going back and fucking looking at them. But there's now a post on Facebook that says, name the new holster in the comments. So it will still be the Trempendix, but it's the Trempendix something, because I still have the original Trempendix. I don't want to be like the Trempendix Classic and the Trempendix like Coke did. Like this is the Trempendix and this is the Trempendix 2 or something, but we're not calling it the 2. So, or the Mark 2, because the Mark series is the strong side, so I can't use Mark. What I'm looking for is some ideas to name the holster. Now, what I could do, and I don't know if I'm going to do it this way, it depends. If there's a couple of good ones, we'll make a poll and let people vote on it. And if there's just one that stands out and I like it, I'm going to take it. And if you name the holster, I will send you a free one. Currently, I have a prototype here for a 365 XL, and this one is for a macro. They will be coming out for Glock 48 and the long slide Shield Plus. That's like the 4-inch barrel Shield Plus. You can only get it from the Smith & Wesson custom shop. So most people don't have the long barrel version, but the longer barrel does give us more room to mount the wedge. And the longer the wedge is, the further the wedge is away from the belt, the better leverage you get for pushing the grip in. So we just make the holster for the long Shield Plus. Same with like the 48. If you're carrying a 43X, like it's the same. The holster being longer will give you extra leverage to tuck the gun in. So your Paducah series, the Deuce, great. I'll never come back and look at this chat or the comments in this live chat. So the Facebook page is where you'll want to put the names. And like I said, if we pick your name, pick a Glock 48 Shield Plus or 365 or 365 macro, and you get a holster. And it comes with a wiggly jig, a yellow wiggly jig. The wiggly jigs will be available separately shortly. And there you go. That's the two big product announcements. Ta-da! All right, now that I got that, I can put this window back over on this screen so I can read the comments so that they're big. Yeah, there we go. I can put this window back over here so I can see myself framed up. Awesome, awesome. And I got my notes handy. Of course, I don't really have any more notes to talk about unless somebody needs a link for something. All right, cool beans. Mike Fiore, hello, sir. So there you guys go. The new Trempendix is awaiting. It might actually go up in price over the old Trempendix. Most of the hardware, the DCC clip and the Raven pad thing in the back, they're the same price. But these DIY wings that I used on the old one, I want to say they're like $4.50 or something like that. And this little nylon spacer that you would think is got to be cheaper. Well, there's two of them. There's one under here. There's some rubber tension washers, and then one of the spacers to take up space like it's designed for. And then the other spacer gives you the leverage on the holster like a wing does. I think those are each $3. So there's $6 in plastic on this holster, and there's only like $4.50 in plastic on this holster. And then there's the cost of the Tegris wiggly jig. So it might end up being $5 or $6 more than the original Trempendix, the Trempendix Classic. We're not calling it that. But if you come up with the name, you can get a holster. We will do a pre-order. The pre-order will be, I don't want to say like no ETA, like SOE thing. It'll just be an extended ETA. And I want to say, I was talking to Hector, and holster orders, all individual holster orders are completely caught up as of today. He mailed stuff. I mailed stuff. There is one outstanding gun shop order, which should be done by Friday. And then there are no holsters on the docket to be made. And when that happens, I'm going to take my time, the time allotted with not having to participate in any of that, and make the First Wave website. I got it started last week and I'm moving along with it, but I'm not a web guy, so I suck at it and I'm slow. But I'm the only one of the four of us that's willing to work on a website. So I guess it'll happen probably starting next week when nobody has any holsters and they can get me some pictures and photos and that kind of shit. And we'll get the First Wave website up. And in the interim, until that website's up, we'll do a pre-order on the newer Trempendix, unnamed Trempendix. Ooh, like that's part of the name, something to do with unknown. The Snake Eyes, because like in G.I. Joe, nobody knew who Snake Eyes was. Okay, I thought it was clever. Anyhow, and we'll do that at a little bit of a discounted price until the new website's up. When the website is up, you'll be able to get the Tremis signature holsters either from my website or the First Wave website, and the shade holsters will just be over on the First Wave website. So that's the big news. I guess I'll start sharing some social media posts as well. Oh, I see where Kyle's gone. Deuce Wiggalo, because it's got the wiggly jig. I have designed in my head 2 products made out of Tegris, and well, actually, I've designed about 4 or 5, but ones that other people might want. And one is called a Dubert, and one is called a Wiggly Jig. You can see how seriously I take this naming thing. But if you got any questions about the new Kydex products, new First Wave products, go ahead and ask. If not, that's fine too. Big question to answer is the original Trempendix is not going away. If nobody ever orders it, it might by de facto go away, but it is not being discontinued. I did not get to name the walkie-talkie, but whoever did was very clever. Probably cleverer than me. So the OG 365 will fit in the XL holster just fine. The reason we don't make the shorter one is when we shrink this dimension up and we move that pad up higher, then the gun doesn't have as much leverage and wants to tilt out away from the belly. So we just use the longer one. So the further away that is, leverage being what it is, it rotates it back into the belly. I'm late. What's the difference? He says. Well, I'm not going to go over it all again, but if you watch this after it's over, you'll be able to see the differences, and the website will probably have some descriptors on it when I put the pre-sale up. I need to Loctite those screws. This one that I've been wearing a bunch is Loctited. This one has not been, because I wanted to see if I wanted a different ride height with the different setup. Turns out I'm at the same level that I was on the old one. But now that I've decided that, I need to go ahead and Loctite those. Javier says the Trempendix is the only macro holster that fits the short macro frame. That's Wilson's fuck up. It's not like I did anything special. I don't know what I did different. Like I'm not sure. But the dimensions on a macro, I wish I brought a blue gun up. Top to bottom are different on a macro than they are a 365. So they used the 365 length this way and this way, like the narrow rail, but then kept the macro height top to bottom, or I can't remember. It's those 3 dimensions. They use 2 of them from the macro and 1 from the 365. and when they built the frame, which meant it won't traditionally fit a macro frame or a 365 frame. So, and that all has to do with the pick rail in the front. So Wilson really dropped the ball on that. I watched a post from, I want to say it was Plan B Holsters, which I don't know those guys. I never have touched any of their products. I just saw them on Instagram, and they were talking about the dimensions and that technically it should have its own mold, and that's dumb. But maybe if Magpul, since they're doing 320 frames, if they branch into the 365s, maybe they'll do something cool. RJ says no fat guns. No fat guns. Signature holsters are meant for guns that I recommend, and I recommend at this point 3 guns. Monsieur John is here. I was on John's live stream last night. You all should have watched that. If not, it's probably still on his channel and on his YouTube channel, and you can go see it. I don't know what we really talked about anything. John and Noel were very generous with their reviews of Tremis Dynamics classes and my teaching ability. So that is awesome and well welcomed. And I didn't even pay him to say that. Steven says that he likes that the wing is higher. I actually don't know if it ends up being much higher. I'm looking now. It might not be. I think it's about in the same spot, Steven. The problem with making the wing higher is when you draw the gun, if the wing is higher, your hand will not fit between the wing and the grip. So like when you, like even on the old one, the height of that wing is determined by grabbing the gun. And like, I don't know if you can see, but I got about a 1/16 of an inch between my knuckle and the top of the wing. So if you got fat fingers, you got to run, you might actually take the wing off. I don't know. I don't have fat fingers. So, but that has always been a problem with holsters with a wing on them, is that you run out of places to put the wing. And now one of the options that I've seen is wings that come way far out because the grip is at an angle. So if the wing's way out here, you end up with inches, but then you got a big footprint of a holster. And the further out the wing is, the more it flexes. And then it's just flexing instead of rotating the holster. Like if you notice on the original Trempendix, the wing does not hang in free space. There is Kydex behind the wing, like a wing of Kydex, so that when the pants push on the wing can't flex. It pushes the Kydex. So you have 2 things you got to flex. I mean, shit still flexes, but the more rigid you make it. I see a lot of holster designs where there's a holster and then the wing comes out here. So then when you tighten your belt, the wing goes, but the holster never rotates. But it does get to be a problem of the perfect place for the wing is right where your hand needs to be. So present some problems. Uh, 365X in a Wilson frame fits a Trempendix. Good to know. You should carry that instead of that fucking SBR that you put a picture up, RJ. So Kyle, yes, there is an XL model that holds the OG 365, 365X, 365XL, all fit in that. And then there's a separate macro holster that fits the macro. There are some dimensional changes between the macro and the other one that you can't make one holster use both. Turtle, hello, sir. RJ says, no way. It's probably to my SBR comment. But literally the picture he put up, I would just carry a rifle if I was carrying that. Because that gun is big enough that everybody knows he's carrying it. If anyone has a G19 Trempendix they're willing to part with, I'd pay handsomely. Now it sounds like I'm about to wheel and deal to get Hector to make another Trempendix in it for a G19 and see how much we can get out of RJ. Or maybe a Trempendix, what do we call it? Deuce Wigolo. We'll see. We'll see what I can do. Stickers that say no fat guns. Ooh, I'm digging it. I'm digging it. Oh, yeah. Like the no fat chick stickers for those that aren't tracking. So anyhow, it is 8:52. I'm only going to be here for 3 more minutes because I want to make sure you guys have times to nice RJ. Get over to Andrew's Combat Art Training live stream with I'm pretty sure it's Jared Reston. But I say that, and as soon as like my mouth started forming the words, I went, oh, maybe it's not. So $150 for a Deuce Wigolo G19. Woo-wee. $150. Now he's out there just saying, give it to me, man. I'll take it. You can take that as a sexual innuendo if you want, because it was kind of meant to be. Work both ways. RJ says it is Jared Reston, so good deal. I was not incorrect. At my age, sometimes my mind goes, yeah, bro, that ain't it. And then I'm like, wait, is it or isn't it? And I have this conversation with the voices in my head about which one of us is right. But it can be the only one to exist. Damn, RJ. Shut up and take his money. We should make it some sort of game of skill. I just don't know what. We'll come up with something. Like, you'll still pay out the nose for it, and it would be one of a kind if you can video yourself doing something. Like, I don't even make you come to me to do it in person. Like, you can just send me the video of it. So it's got to be something blasty. I'll come up with something. 100-yard pistol shots are if we talk 100-yard pistol shots with a Ruger LCP, now we're talking. And no, I'm not sure what the hold is at 100 yards on an LCP. I know exactly what it is at 50 and can ring those out all day long. One-handed, even. I got a video and everything. But 100, I'd have to figure out what the hold is because, man, 380 is fucking slow. How small is the target? I would say a steel, like a shoot steel silhouette type thing. We could do this as well because Mike said 100-yard pistol shots dot can't be on. How about 100-yard pistol shot, no red dot, no rear sight? Now that's a thing. So if you have a dot equipped pistol that doesn't have a rear sight on it, like the original 365 XL, where you took the rear sight was on the optic plate, you just turn the dot off and bang her right out. Oh, that's right. That's right. The backup irons aren't mandatory. I forgot about that post. It's interesting. Uh, because I would say easy, an easy 80% of all dot failures are electronics failures from manufacturing, design, or materials that require warranty repair from Trigicon, HoloSun, SIG, Shield Arms, et cetera, et cetera. That's having only seen 400 or 500 dots fail. It is not old batteries. It is not broken glass. It is not obscured window. It is, they just turned off, never to turn back on. In which case, backup irons sure do seem like they would be swell. Kyle was talking about rifle backup irons because he was mentioned 45-degree offsets. And it wasn't until later when in the comments I realized we were talking about pistol, predominantly pistol backup irons on the post. But yeah, I can make pretty good hits without sights. People have seen it. So I'm not going to say that it's like you can't ever get a hit if you don't got some sort of, if you don't have this or that on your gun. I just found the data collected for dots failing and to be woefully underreported on the one that happens all the time. I'll tell you how much electronics fail in red dots. I can surmise it easy by the Trigicon RMR, what people might say is the gold standard of red dots. When you buy one, you've already paid for two because Trigicon flat out says they assume 100% return rate on RMRs, that every single one they sell will come back broken. So they're expensive, so that the warranty replacement is already factored in. And before somebody out there says, well, that's why now we're going to closed emitters. Okay, I agree. Closed emitters are the wave of the future. That is the direction that pistol red dots need to go. However, currently, nobody has made one that's waterproof. And I say that because every single one that's currently made, I have seen with water inside of it. So somebody's got some work to do. All right. It's 8:59. Everybody get the fuck out of here and head on over to Combat Art Training's live stream and listen to Andrew and Jared talk. Fair enough, RJ. We will chat about it. It'll be a good conversation. I enjoy those conversations. I also enjoy people challenging what I have seen. So I'm all for it. I don't get butthurt over them. I thought this, and how can someone challenge my worldview? Anyhow, get out of here. I'm getting out of here. Gonna go tune in to Andrew, and I'll see you guys next Wednesday, 8 o'clock, same bat time, same bat channel. And Andrew will actually be on the live chat with me. We'll probably be in a different window right over here. All right, you all take it easy out there, and I'll see you in the comments over on Andrew's live stream.